Admiral Yi Sun-sin's naval victories against Japan 1592 to 1598. Background: the Imjin War in 1592. Toyotomi Hideyoshi, the unifier of Japan, launched an invasion of Korea with the ultimate goal of conquering Ming China. The Japanese forces, numbering over 150,000, overwhelmed Korea's land defenses, capturing Seoul within weeks. Korea's Joseon dynasty, unprepared for the scale of the invasion, turned to its navy, led by Admiral Yi Sun-sin, to disrupt Japanese supply lines and prevent further reinforcements from crossing the sea. Yi, appointed as the left naval commander of Jeolla Province in 1591, faced immense challenges: a small, underfunded navy, limited resources, and a lack of centralized support from the Joseon court. Despite these obstacles, Ye's leadership, strategic foresight, and innovative use of technology, particularly the Geobuxian turtle ship, turned the tide of the war at sea. Ye's success turtle ships. Ye is credited with developing or refining the Geobuxian, an ironclad warship with a spiked armored roof resembling a turtle. These ships were heavily armed with cannons, highly maneuverable, and resistant to Japanese boarding tactics. Their psychological impact and firepower were critical in naval engagements. Strategic brilliance. Yi leveraged Korea's coastal geography, using narrow straits and tidal currents to his advantage. His tactics, such as luring enemies into traps, disrupted Japanese formations, and maximized his fleet's effectiveness. Discipline and morale. He maintained strict discipline among his sailors, fostering loyalty and resilience. His personal courage, often leading from the front, inspired his men to fight against overwhelming odds. Intelligence and preparation. Yi meticulously gathered intelligence on Japanese movements and prepared his fleet with rigorous training and innovative weaponry, including long-range cannons. By targeting Japanese supply lines, Yi starved their land forces of reinforcements and resources, weakening their overall campaign. Major naval campaigns and battles. Yi's 23 victories span multiple campaigns during the Imjin War. Below is a detailed account of his major engagements, grouped by campaign, with emphasis on how he achieved victory without losing a single ship. First campaign, 1592, initial response to invasion when Japan invaded in April 1592. Yi was stationed at Yosu, commanding a modest fleet of about 24 penoccidental Korean warships and several turtle ships. His first campaign targeted Japanese fleets, transporting troops and supplies along Korea's southern coast. Battle of Okpo, May 7, 1592. Japanese ships were anchored at Okpo, ferrying supplies. Yi received reports of their location and moved to intercept. Ye's fleet, including turtle ships, launched a surprise attack at dawn. The turtle ships rammed Japanese vessels, while Panaxian bombarded them with cannons from a distance. The Japanese, reliant on arquebuses and boarding tactics, were unprepared for Ye's long-range fire. Battle of Happo and Jekjempo, May 7 to 8. 1592. After Akpo, Ye pursued fleeing Japanese ships to Happo and Jekjempo. Ye employed similar tactics, using cannon fire to sink enemy vessels before they could engage in close combat. His fleet's superior range and coordination overwhelmed the Japanese. Over 15 Japanese ships were destroyed across both battles, with no Korean losses. Battle of Sachin, May 29, 1592. Context: Yi targeted a Japanese fleet at Sachin, where the enemy was preparing to reinforce land forces. Tactics: this battle marked the debut of the turtle ship in combat. Yi lured the Japanese fleet into open water, where his turtle ships rammed and sank enemy vessels, while Panaxian provided covering fire. Despite being wounded by an arquebus shot, Yi continued to command. 13 Japanese ships were destroyed, with no Korean losses. The turtle ship's effectiveness was proven, striking fear into the Japanese. Battle of Dangpo, June 2, 1592. Ye intercepted a Japanese fleet at Dangpo, carrying supplies and troops. Yi used a crescent formation to encircle the Japanese, with turtle ships leading the charge. His fleet's cannons decimated the enemy before they could respond effectively. Outcome: over 20 Japanese ships were sunk, with no Korean losses. Battle of Danghangpo, June 5, 1592. Japanese ships gathered at Danghangpo to regroup after earlier defeats. Yi employed a similar strategy, using turtle ships to disrupt enemy formations and cannons to sink ships from a distance. The Japanese, unable to counter Yi's firepower, were routed. 26 Japanese ships were destroyed. With no Korean losses. Battle of Yopo. June 7, 1592, a small Japanese fleet was caught near Yopo. Yi's fleet quickly overwhelmed the enemy with concentrated cannon fire, preventing any counterattack. 7 Japanese ships were sunk, with no Korean losses. Second campaign, 1592, Battle of Hansandoth, Battle of Hansando, August 14, 1592, is considered Yi's greatest victory and a turning point in the war. Battle of Hansando, Japanese commander Wakizaki Yasuharu, seeking to break Yi's dominance, assembled a fleet of over 70 ships. Yi lured them to the narrow straits near Hansando Island. Yi employed his famous crane wing formation, a semicircular tactic that enveloped the Japanese fleet. Turtle ships disrupted the enemy's front line, while Panaxian bombarded from the flanks. Yi exploited the tidal currents to trap the Japanese, preventing escape. Follow-up battles, August-September 1592. After Hansando, Yi pursued remnants of the Japanese fleet, engaging them in smaller skirmishes at Angopo, Jongnimpo, and other Panaxian-based ports. Yi used hit-and-run tactics, leveraging his fleet's mobility and firepower to prevent Japanese reorganization. Over 30 additional Japanese ships were destroyed across these engagements. With no Korean losses. Third campaign, 1592 to 1593, consolidating control. Yi continued to patrol the southern coast, targeting Japanese supply lines and preventing reinforcements. His relentless pressure forced the Japanese to abandon plans for further naval operations in 1592. 59 Japanese ships were destroyed, with 14 captured. Yi's fleet suffered no losses. The victory crippled Japanese naval operations and secured Korea's southern coast. Skirmishes and patrols. September 1592, early 1593, Yi's fleet conducted regular patrols, intercepting Japanese supply convoys and raiding coastal strongholds. Yi relied on intelligence from local fishermen and scouts to locate enemy ships. His fleet used superior firepower and mobility to strike swiftly and retreat before Japanese land forces could respond. Dozens of Japanese ships were sunk or captured in these smaller engagements, with no Korean losses. Hiatus and reinstatement, 1593 to 1597 in 1593. Political intrigue at the Joseon court led to Yi's demotion and brief imprisonment, orchestrated by rivals and false accusations of disloyalty. During this period, the Korean Navy, under less capable leadership, suffered setbacks. The Japanese, however, failed to capitalize fully due to their earlier naval losses. In 1597, as Japan launched a second invasion, Yi was reinstated as naval commander, tasked with rebuilding a decimated fleet. Fourth campaign, 1597, Battle of Myeongyang-Thi, Battle of Myeongyang, October 26, 1597, is one of Yi's most legendary victories, showcasing his ability to triumph against overwhelming odds. Battle of Myeongyang commanded only 12 Panaxian and 1 turtle ship, facing a Japanese fleet of over 130 ships. The battle took place in the narrow Myeongyang Strait, known for its strong tidal currents. Yi chose the strait to neutralize the Japanese numerical advantage. He positioned his fleet to exploit the reversing tide, which trapped the Japanese ships in a bottleneck. Yi's turtle ship led the charge, breaking the enemy formation, while his Panaxian used cannons to devastating effect. Yi's personal leadership, standing at the helm, beating a war drum, rallied his men. 31 Japanese ships were destroyed, with no Korean losses. The victory restored Korean naval dominance and demoralized the Japanese. Follow-up engagements, October-November 1597 context. After Myeongyang, Yi pursued the retreating Japanese fleet, engaging them in smaller battles along the coast. Tactics: Yi continued to use coastal geography and his fleet's firepower to harass and destroy Japanese ships. Outcome: over 40 Japanese ships were sunk across these battles. With no Korean losses, Final campaign 1598, Battle of Noryang and Ye's death. The Battle of Noryang, December 16–17. 1598 was Yi's final engagement and the culmination of his efforts to expel the Japanese from Korea. Battle of Noryang and associated skirmishes. Context: as Japanese forces began withdrawing from Korea, Yi allied with Ming Chinese naval forces to intercept a retreating Japanese fleet of over 500 ships at Noryang Strait. Tactics: Yi used a combined Korean-Ming fleet with his 13 Panaxian and turtle ships leading the attack. He employed night tactics, using darkness and cannon fire to disorient the Japanese. The narrow strait again played to Yi's advantage, limiting Japanese maneuverability. During the battle, Yi was fatally wounded by a stray arquebus shot, but ordered his men to conceal his death to maintain morale, famously saying, "Do not let my death be known." Over 200 Japanese ships were destroyed or captured, with no Korean losses under Ye's command. The victory effectively ended Japanese naval presence in Korea. Though Ye's death was a profound loss, Yi never lost a ship. Yi's record of 23 victories without losing a single ship under his direct command is attributed to several factors. Superior technology: the turtle ships and Panaxian were technologically advanced, with iron plating and long-range cannons that outmatched Japanese ships, which relied on arquebuses and boarding tactics. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more military and Navy geopolitical updates.